So if you don't know Fansplay by now, it is the global platform for fan engagement to watch pros play.
How Fansplay is going to integrate with minor league pickleball, which is the biggest amateur tour in the world right now.
And in Will, we're already only on our second season, and we have almost 200 events booked this year.
We're talking to the head guy over here with China and Canadian pickleball. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how Fansplay is going to engage with?
So Fansplay is integrated in CNPL, the Canadian National Pickleball League, as well as the CPA Pro Tour. And we've seen that it's really helped increase our fan engagement.
I think the exciting thing is where we're going with the sport. Right now we see the US as the dominant marketplace, but that will change over time. Where I kind of see the business shifting is a lot overseas in Asia, I think.
In its boom a few years ago, it's tackling, like you said, 175 countries that DUPR's on now, and continuing to push at rates that it's stressful. It's stressful for us as agents, it's stressful for you as...
Hi everybody, welcome to the Fansplay podcast. We're here at the Address Hotel in Dubai for the debut of the Pickleball World Series. And we have a great group here together. We have investors, we have fans, we have players, we have businessmen, and honestly, some of my really good friends. So I'm excited to bring this conversation to you all about Fansplay. Sam Flaxman, top-notch management agent. Do you want to lead us off and talk a little bit about what Fansplay is and how people can get involved?
Yes, thanks, Kaitlyn. First off, I just want to say thank you to Pickleball World Series, Pickleball World Rankings Tour, and also Fansplay for having us here in Dubai. Really excited to be putting on the first exhibition in the GCC and specifically here in the Dubai Mall. So if you don't know Fansplay by now, it is the global platform for fan engagement to watch pros play. You get to watch basically a game cast of pros matches, and you get to bet on the fantasy value down the road. And that's the cool, engaging part. And the cool part about Fansplay is that they actually have a new partnership with DUPR and Minor League Pickleball, which just was recently announced. And I'm actually sitting next to Tito, who's the CEO of DUPR, who will take it from here.
Thank you, Sam. We're super excited to be here, as you said, with this amazing group of people. And this partnership is going to change the way that we play pickleball, right? DUPR is the global rating we're in 175 countries. We have over 1 million profiles. And now this partnership is going to be able to take our rating, our algorithm, and enhance the fan experience, not only at the pro level, but at the amateur level. So everyone can, play with their friends. They can, you can create that engagement with every single tournament around the world. And I think the other massive announcement about this partnership is how Fansplay is going to integrate with minor league pickleball, which is the biggest amateur tour in the world right now. So I think this is going to change, as I said before, it's going to change the way we do minor leagues. It's going to change the way the players engage with the game. So very excited to be here.
And in Will, we're already only on our second season, and we have almost 200 events booked this year. We have a pathway in Australia, starting off a pathway in Peru too. And bringing this and connecting players with Fansplay is just gonna bring another level of excitement to everything.
I think there's a lot of people who want to play pickleball like me, but are not good at it. But so they like to watch it, and then somehow they still want an aspect of participation in it. And I think with Fansplay, they can really get in the game that way.
Don't sell yourself short. You're not too bad.
Oh, bro, that's only because we haven't played yet. It gets pretty bad. 6 points in, I'm asking, where's the pizza? I'm good, bro.
That's great. Well, I think we're all super excited about it. Talking to Pickleball Peru, right? You're bringing a World Cup to Peru. You've done it last year. It's growing. I think you had, how many teams did you have last year, and how many are you having this year?
Last year we had 14. This year we're expecting to have 32 countries. As you mentioned, the Pickleball World Cup will take place in Lima, Peru, this October 22nd through October 27th. It's going to be a historic event. I mean, we're using the Pan American Games Villa. We're creating a lot of engagement, and we just signed a partnership with Fansplay, where it's going to take pickleball to the next level in America, and we're going to make a huge impact to the world.
Love that. I feel like you've done such a good job of bringing so many people from different countries together through the sport of pickleball, which DUPR has also done, which I think is fantastic. And, we're talking to the head guy over here with China and Canadian pickleball. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how Fansplay is going to engage with both of those leagues?
Sure. So Fansplay is integrated in CNPL, the Canadian National Pickleball League, as well as the CPA Pro Tour. And we've seen that it's really helped increase our fan engagement a lot.
Mm-hmm. And Megan and Ryler, as pro players, you can kind of see how fans are interacting, but how do you think this will, maybe take it to the next level and also help maybe pros get to know fans even better?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were one of the first kind of to get to kind of experience Fansplay in India back in February, and we kind of totally fell in love with it instantly. We loved the aspect of it was not just about the top pros, it was about all aspects of the game, even to the point now that they're adding amateurs in there as well. So fans are not just going to be engaged with the top 5 people. It's about the whole realm of the whole range of players, which I think is exciting. When we created our teams in India, or I was back in Ahmedabad, and I had to create teams because you can't just pick the top 4 players because you don't have enough points for that. So I had to go look at the juniors, and I had to go check out, like, okay, let me go watch them. And it was fun, and I felt like I was engaged in their matches too. So I felt like I became a fan by creating my own team, and it was super fun interaction. So from that aspect, I absolutely love it. I'm a huge fan of Fansplay. But from a player's perspective, I think it's a great platform for us to kind of expose ourselves even more, giving ourselves, another platform for sponsors or for people to engage with us, with fans, with hopefully a global realm. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. Obviously, with all the new advancements in technology, this is some of the stuff that we're going to see now. They've talked about having like statistics with it as well, which will be cool to see that, and then potentially monetizing it, further down the road, where even players can benefit from that financially. I think it's pretty cool to see that. I think that's kind of the future of pickleball and the future of sports in general, but we haven't really tapped into that yet. So it's we're lucky to have some very brilliant minds developing this stuff for Fansplay to be able to do that in pickleball. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, that was very nicely said. I was at the Indian Open as well. And I felt like it brought like a different environment to the game and to the interaction with everybody there. So I'm excited to see what it does. And Alex Hunt, agent at Hype Nation, you represent a lot of players in the pickleball world. You've seen a lot of different businesses, form and come to shape, some come and go.
Yeah.
How do you think Fansplay will change the game, and what are you most excited for?
Well, I think Fansplay is one of the first opportunities for us to really dive into the different type of statistics and actually like creating a platform for everybody to be seen. It's not just for one person or the top players that are always being seen. And a lot of the stuff right now with broadcasting things, you only get to put usually those top matches on. And so this is allowing everybody kind of like, what Sam was talking about, a game cast where you can see live interactions of how these scores are going. And when you watch some of these other sports, like they have opportunities where you can engage better within the different ranks, all the courts. And so, when I was in India watching, you were studying all these other courts, walking over to them, seeing how these juniors are doing, or these amateurs, to pick your teams and engage in them. And then once it happens, you're seeing live stats on somebody made a mistake or did this or did that. So you can really like see how the match is being played outside of just somebody got a point. So it's way more interactive. It's way more engaging, and it's kind of like that addiction of like, I'm really connecting for the first time at a different level with these players than what we've seen in the sport, which is a very fun thing for an agent or for players or for even sponsor anything to understand like what's happening out there.
It's definitely revolutionized, I think, the fan aspect of the sport. Pickleball is, as everyone knows, mostly a participatory sport. Everyone who shows up at the tournaments, they're not there to watch, they're there to play. But there's a lot of people watching the live streams of all tournaments, of all events. And I think this is one way to really get just into the game of pickleball and in a big way, especially, the fact that the technology behind it and the development behind it is so advanced. There's so many pieces to it that it's really like a whole 360 immersion into the sport or into the event as you're watching it. It's really cool.
I think
really cool to see.
The key aspect that you guys are mentioning is democratizing tools and technology and analytics for every single player, right? We have a big gap between the amateur recreational player and the pro, right? And creating that pathway, even if it's just for watching or just dreaming about sometimes at some point playing professional pickleball, right? By putting everyone in one platform with all of the stats and making you feel like, hey, you're also part of this community. I'm getting the same tools that everyone else is getting. This is why this is so important, right? No more division, create union between the different tiers. that are playing the sport that we love.
And kind of build off Alex and obviously Megan and Ryler there, we had a couple of clients. You have the India Open. Fansplay has also been in the US and has also been in the UK. I think the cool part about it is if you're a huge fantasy football fan like myself, it's not just binary scoring. So how we traditionally digest pickleball right now, it's you only see 0-1 or you see 1-1 online. But with Fansplay, the cool part is you get to see if someone hit a dink in the net or someone hit an overhead winner. Let's say you hit a dink in the net, it's -2 points for that player. If someone hits an overhead winner, it's +10, which really gives a whole other value and enticement to watch pickleball and choose the best players that you think are going to be on your team. So you have the option to pick the best players in all your team, or you can find undervalued players who are going to give you a better chance at a lower point or score or price point, essentially, on the marketplace at Fansplay. So I think the cool thing is that Fansplay is just starting, and there's so much more to build on the platform.
Yeah, I think, I came from a soccer background. I've been involved in pickleball for 4 years, but there's different stats that people look at to see like player values in soccer or I'm sure other sports. And I don't think we've really found like the sweet spot. Pickleball obviously has been around since 1965, but the pro game just began, less than a half a decade ago. And I still don't think we know like the best way to play this sport, the exact statistics to look at. And so I feel like this could also be beneficial in that respect, to both fans and players to better their game. I'm excited to see how like AI integration could also be used to watch maybe matches back and see different things that could be brought out to help players get better.
And Kaitlyn, just to add there, all the fun doesn't happen only on the championship court, right? There are so many interesting things happening other courts, and me as a tournament director now, we're gonna have 2 venues for the World Cup. It's gonna be very interesting how the crowd is gonna go. Both venues are gonna see the para athletes, the kids, the seniors. So I do believe they would like to be seen. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the tournaments, they're just put them on the back courts, right? Mm-hmm. And I want the spectators to be there, but also I want the seniors to be on the championship court, right? So where the fans play is gonna play a huge role in order to this fan engagement. And I think, as I said, it's gonna take pickleball to the next level.
What's really cool, sorry, just to piggyback off of what Megan was saying, we saw at the Canadian National Pickleball League and at the CPA Pro Tour, when the events happened, a lot of the players themselves got really excited about, oh, look, I'm #1 on Fansplay, right? So I think
Megan was #1 overall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was always checking that board to see if I could beat her. But.
Yeah. So it's the Fansplay and the follower count. You're trying to catch up to it. Right? Is that what that is?
Exactly.
So no, but it's so great to see because it gives another aspect just beyond the prize money and winning for the players themselves to be excited about. So I think it's a really cool thing what Fansplay has done. It's obviously the first of its kind in pickleball, and I think it's again revolutionized the way people are going to watch and take part in the game.
Yeah, I think one of the other main aspects of this is having all of these brains in the same room, all supporting Fansplay is very telling, right? You have people from every part of the background of the sport. We focus on the amateur side, the pro side, professional players over here, and different parts of the world. We have Canada, we have China, we have, Peru representing the World Cup, and we are all behind this project, which again, it tells. We've seen everything, right? We've seen so many platforms, we've seen so many things, so many pitches, and this is the one that cultivated all of us to be here and be part of this amazing event. So, I think that's, the people watching this and looking at this should look at this like, hey, let's try Fansplay because something special is brewing for sure.
Yeah, y'all better get to downloading. Available on iOS and Android, so there's no excuse.
Another interesting point is you don't have to be on site to play on the Fansplay, right? So I do believe in the World Cup, right? There were people from Costa Rica last year, and they were seeing the live stream to see them play. So now with the app, they can even besides we just watching, they can also interact with the crowd, and they can also win some money, right?
Absolutely, man. The winner of the Canadian National Pickleball League Fansplay for the first event was from India. So, which is just speaks to about how it's also going to help internationalize whatever event is happening, in any territory.
My team in India didn't do too well when I put together my team, so I can't say I'm the best at Fansplay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Fansplay has more engagement than my live stream.
That's entirely possible.
I think the big question in pro pickleball is like, how can we get more fans to interact?
That's what I said, yeah.
You know, we know that people love to play the sport, but it's always been, do people love to watch the sport? And how can we get them more interested? And I think, you know, the thought has always been to convert. We don't need to convert, you know, soccer watchers to pickleball watchers or football watchers to pickleball, whatever. We just need to convert the pickleball players to fans and watchers. So how can we do that? We can do that by gamifying the sport. We can do that by showing more stats. We can do that by creating personalities, having bigger brands. And I think that Fansplay does that. So.
And pickleball plays that role, right? I mean, if you watch a 3-0 tennis match, maybe like it will be boring, but with pickleball, like there's like the long rallies, it doesn't matter the skill level. So I do believe like Fansplay is gonna like play an important role, especially for the amateur side as well.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I think you know, Fansplay creates another platform to share our story, right? I mean, like when I'm looking at Fansplay and I can see all the different players, like there's bios in there as well, so I can actually get to know a player in there that I maybe never seen before, whether it's someone from China or from India or from Europe, or you know, so it's actually another way of getting to know all these pickleball players that are out there, and there are so many and growing. So it's just another way of getting to know the world.
Yeah.
And I think as it develops, you're going to see a lot of brands that are potential sponsors start at least perusing or looking at the stats that Fansplay is providing to see who the players are, the up and comers are that are worth sponsoring. So I think it's the implications of Fansplay are very wide reaching. There's no question about it.
Well, awesome. So excited to be here with this group. Thank you to Fansplay. Thank you to Aman, Tanish, Pran for bringing us all together here in Dubai to celebrate Fansplay, Pickleball World Rankings, and the debut of the Pickleball World Series. You are not going to want to miss the debut here today, as well as big exciting events coming up in 2025. So I'm Kaitlyn Kerr, aka Pickleball Chick, and thanks for having us. Be sure to check out Fansplay. Welcome to the Fansplay podcast. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Kerr, here in Dubai, and I have a great group with us today. We want to talk a little bit about pickleball. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the world. It has been tremendous to so many of us here in this room, and especially Megan Fudge and Ryler DeHeart, college sweethearts that played tennis together, now taking on the pickleball world. I mean, talk a little bit about how pickleball has really changed your lives, changed your kids' lives. You guys live in a van. You've traveled to China. You've traveled to India. I mean, you've traveled the world. So talk a little bit about how your life has changed. They literally traveled to tournaments.
It's an RV.
The V is for van.
Okay. It is a nice van, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, your lives have really changed, and it's incredible to see the journey that you guys have had.
Yeah, I mean, like the thought that 3.5 years ago I was an insurance advisor for Farmers Insurance.
When you told me that, I almost had a heart attack. We were up the Burj Khalifa, and she's like, "Yeah, I was an insurance advisor." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and Ryler was coaching tennis, and honestly, like we were looking for something to do like together again, something socially, something like physical but competitive. And pickleball, honestly,
It kept coming up on our social, like media stuff. And
social media was big on that, and yeah, so we was like, let's try this thing. Let's join the dark side, and here we are 3.5 years later, and we're sitting in Dubai, thinking about pickleball, and this is all we do, like full time. We travel full time. Our kids play, JR and Lily, they're 7 and 9. And they're probably more addicted than we are. And all they want to do is play pickleball with their friends. And yeah, it's truly changed our lives. And we just can't believe we have to pinch ourselves often to be like, okay, we're living this dream right now. Like, it's insane.
I mean, we could talk about it for hours, but it's obviously everyone in this room, pickleball has changed their life. So it's the same for us. But I think pickleball is such a unique sport because it like brings everyone together. It's something that there's no other sport where like we could all play together as a family, right? I mean, we'd go out there, kick a soccer ball around or shoot hoops or whatever. But like to get all of us, like me, my wife, you know, she's like kicking my butt in practice half the time. She would never beat me in any other sport. I'm saying that right now.
That sounds like a challenge.
But in pickleball, it's like, you know, it's just such an equalizer. And it's an amazing sport because it's like the guys, the girls you see on MLP, they're playing together. And then my kids are playing, you know, 3-0 level already. I'm hoping in a couple of years they're going to be my split age partners, my practice partners. And just so for us to be able to do that together, I think that just shows you the beauty of the sport, and it's been really cool for us.
I just want to say, like, I've been at a lot of events that you guys have been at together, and one of my favorite things is seeing Ryler cheer for Megan.
Yeah.
It warms my
I
heart.
get so nervous. Though.
Have you
know
seen them
you
play
do.
against each other though?
I know that's not one of their favorite things to do because I think Megan usually comes out on top. If I'm not correct. No, but Ryler is Megan's biggest cheerleader, and so it's beautiful to see that. I think it's awesome that you cheer hard, and I love it.
If anybody saw Newport, I got a little. That match was insane though. Like
that was the most insane match.
Yeah, that was one of the best pickleball matches
Ever.
I think. Everyone was saying this was like one of the best matches we've ever seen. She played singles match in the final, and it was like I don't even remember the score, but it was every single game went the distance, and it was just a crazy back and forth battle. And I was like just so nervous the entire time. So when it was over, it was just like this release of like all of my stress. You know?
Yeah, but I saw the New York City APP. I saw it just at MLP. Where were we last?
Beer City.
Beer City. Yeah, that's where I saw it. Indoors. He was cheering hard for you, and I just think it's a beautiful thing. So, love to see it.
Yeah, it's a family affair, right?
Yeah.
We
Same when the kids are out there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, he gets extremely nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harder to watch other people that you care about sometimes than it is playing yourself. It's like
Yeah.
you have no control and you're just nervous. And like I'd rather go play because at least I can like go out there and play and I have some.
You do
control
something
over
about
what's
it.
going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
I'm watching them, just like praying they're not gonna.
I don't think the agent world is for you then, because all we do is sit, watch, nervous. Yeah.
You look pretty nervous in my matches too. Sometimes.
It never gets easier either. After all these years, like you just continue to watch, with the strategy that you're trying to do, certain things because you've been there, and then stuff happens. You just get so tight and so nervous. And I sit with Ryler a lot and just say the same thing, like, it's so frustrating. Even when you watch their kids, it's so great. But, one of the fun things about their family is like Lily and Jay are like your little scouts too. They walk around like Lily's so dialed in with like what everyone's doing and gives feedback and runs around and then gives Megan advice on the bench. And it's really just a really fun thing to watch.
Alex, you're a little rude when you're watching some of your players' games. I've tried to talk to you a couple times and you just like elbow me away.
Yeah.
And, I've so many times, Alex, what's up, man? Not now.
He does this. He does this.
It's you get in that zone like I can't focus. I can't. And then afterwards you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, Tito.
Yep. Yeah, that's happened a couple times.
Yeah.
Tito, why don't you talk about, obviously we've seen this sport grow and it's going global. We all know that. We're here in Dubai. DUPR has been integrating throughout the world as well. Like, where do you see this sport going? How have you seen the growth? Talk about even DUPR's expansion. I feel like I talked to you like a year ago. You had 40,000 members. Now you're up to over 1 million. So talk a little bit about the global expansion.
Honestly, I don't even know because when we look at the last 2 years, the growth we've seen is almost like it wasn't expected. We knew we had something powerful. We knew something was growing. But I still remember that for my first days at DUPR showing Google slides of like what it was going to be in the future and getting clubs. So honestly, I see DUPR, as an immigrant in the US, I see DUPR almost as like the American dream, come true. When we started this, it was nothing. And now, we're in 175 countries. We are getting, 20% growth month over month. People obsessed with this number. They hate us or they love us, it's tough to say. I think if you asked me a year ago, I would have told you I was very optimistic about the growth. Like now it's like, look where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Right. So every single day is a surprise in this business. Every single day, it doesn't feel like I'm working, I'm doing what I love. So that's the beautiful thing about DUPR, Pickleball, and what we're all doing. It's just like, again, 3 years ago, you asked me if I was going to be here, I would have told you like, yeah, you're crazy. Pickleball, really? And now it's a life passion, and same thing with DUPR. So we really care. We're going to see the growth keep growing because we care.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think, we talked a little bit about how Fansplay is like a gamification of the sport. I think also DUPR, people get attached to their DUPR. They watch it like a hawk. They're like emailing their tournament director if it's not uploaded immediately. So they don't, people want that thing to go up. They're obsessed with it.
It's like a tattoo on their forehead.
Yeah.
So blatantly, that's all they can talk about. It's on the top of their mind.
You have to see my DMs. I have like love letters or people wanting to kill me. So yeah, it means a lot, and that's the stickiness of what we're doing. You know, it's identity, and everyone. One of the main things that we have found, a lot of people have found in pickleball, is a new community and a new identity.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we were doing our 9 to 5 and grinding it out, coming home, you know, turning on TV. Now we have a place to be, some people to be at, some new friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, some of my pickleball friends are some of the best friends I've made, and it's only from the last couple of years. So it speaks to what the sport represents for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree and feel that pickleball has changed so many of our lives, and it's continuing to grow, and we're continuing to figure out ways to make it more interactive. You know, I think a next level, like there's pickleball heads where you can actually see where you can play. Like, you know, you said we have a lot of friends, but like, do they use Team Reach? Do they use pickle heads? Do they use like what court finders? Like a way to even make it more community driven, I think could be helpful, whether that's integrated through DUPR, Fansplay, whether it's pickleball heads coming in, I don't know. But I think that could be a very interesting part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, pickleball is, like we all said, it's changed our lives, and I've been fortunate enough I can call each one of you guys now my friends, and you know, to spend the last just to spend the last 3.5 years in this business, like I didn't think at some point we were really going to be here in the GCC just yet. And you know, fortunate enough, I've been able to go to India, which was in February. I was here in Dubai in early May, went to Australia right afterwards, and now we're back here 2 months later. We have plans to go to China.
And don't forget about Lake Como, New Jersey.
Lake Como, New Jersey. Kaitlyn and I will play together. I'm still waiting for her to play a mixed tournament with me, but I don't want it so much. But I think the exciting thing is where we're going with the sport. Right now, we see the U.S. as the dominant marketplace, but that will change over time. Where I kind of see the business shifting is a lot overseas in Asia. I think China will be the number one market. Yui can speak on that further.
Sure.
I think there will be India. I think there will be the GCC, America, North America. And then, you know, the likes of Australia and Canada kind of right behind it. So, Yui, tell us a little bit what you're kind of seeing in China.
Bro, it's just booming. It's booming out there. I would say they're maybe 10 years behind where the US is right now, but it'll take them maybe 3 years if they put their nose to the grindstone to close that gap. So the population is in all parts of China is really catching on, and just, you know, to the point of how pickleball has changed my life. I'm of Chinese descent, but I was born and raised in Canada. Through pickleball now, I've traveled now all of China, been able to get back, you know, to my roots, really rediscover them and really relearn the language that I should have been able to speak from time. So just on a personal level, pickleball has done a lot. And obviously, being here in Dubai with y'all now, and you know, having traveled a lot of the U.S. because of pickleball too, and been able to get with you amazing people on so many different levels. It's just, you know, even as a non-player or as not a good player, just a leisurely player, I feel like the social aspect is something that's really worth cultivating. I haven't seen any other sport that has as much of a social component as pickleball has. So yeah, it's been great. Just like Tito was saying, some of the best friends that I've made are the recent ones in pickleball as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add to the America growth, you know, like when I first played pickleball here in the States, you know, I played the tour, and then I went to Peru, found the pickleball Peru. And I mean, people were saying like, hey, you're crazy to go into Peru, like choking courts and taping lines and taking my professional, like my temporary net everywhere. I mean, we were 4 people at the time. Nowadays, there are over 50 courts in Peru. I mean, there are over 10,000 people playing. I mean, now with the World Cup, right? I mean, like this year, there's people from New Zealand, Bermuda, Grand Cayman Islands, you know,
China,
Aruba, China. I mean, like there are countries like Antigua that they are coming to play the World Cup that you will never think that they're playing pickleball, and they're all excited about this World Cup. They're excited to be part of this like World Series that we are going to launch today. And I do believe that pickleball is going to take to the next level. And with DUPR, also we signed a big partnership. So we're going to take minor league to Peru as well, trying to push it to America. And people get crazy. Like they are all about it. I mean, like now with DUPR, they just show the rankings for like America, and now it's getting like with the flags international. So I do believe like US is going to be still the hub for a little while, but I think like there's going to be a lot of stops like worldwide, and people are going to start travel, and they're going to make a pickleball like be the fastest growing the sport in the world, right? I mean, that's what we are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're always going to continue to look to the U.S. for the standards, like the rules and regulations. I think that's always going to come from you guys. I think and it should. And it should, as the originators of the sport, the people who have turned it into what it is. I think that it's America, baby.
I honestly, when we spent the month in China, I thought it was really interesting. There's a lot of interest in the sport, like because of the racket sport background there, and like badminton and table tennis. Like I feel like pickleball is going to take off so fast. As you know, we've noticed already such growth already, but it's just going to exponentially grow even more there. I think India is ahead of them right now, and I kind of mentioned that when we were in China, and it kind of caused a little bit of rivalry, which is kind of fun to spark.
Give us a year.
Rivalry.
Give us a year.
But no, I mean it's been a phenomenal growth from February even to now our journey in India the last couple of months as well. So I'm excited to go back to the monsoon in August, and I think all these countries, why not pickleball? I mean, like, why not? I think tennis obviously has always been our first love, but pickleball is so much more fun.
Yeah,
it's just more fun. It's more accessible. I mean, it's like we said, it's a sport that just kind of unites everyone. I've never met anyone that really tries it that doesn't like it. You know, like you pick up the paddle and you start messing around with it, and most people get addicted right away. So
Renee Stubbs might be the only outlier that doesn't like pickleball.
she doesn't like pickleball.
She hates pickleball.
She's got great volleys
tough.
too.
She's
though.
tough.
She's
Go
got
see
great
her battle
volleys.
between her and Jay DeVilliers on Twitter from last year.
Yeah.
That was quite
Yeah,
entertaining.
but we haven't seen the battle on the court.
Exactly.
I don't want to see it on
Oh,
Twitter.
they had
I
a
want to see it
Twitter
on the
battle
court.
about. Oh, I did see that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
think-
was bashing it, but has she she's tried it and played it? And stuff?
That's not the case. Like, no one who has been on the court and have fun
Yeah,
with the sport
I wonder if she's
will
actually.
convert people.
That's the thing. So, like, I played pro tennis for 6 years. Like, I had the same mentality when I was coming in. You know, like me and Travis Brennemeyer, we kind of started around the same time. We both played on tour. And, you know, it's like if you were a good tennis player, you kind of look down on pickleball.
Yep.
Like, you look down on your nose and you're like, oh, it's not that hard. How hard can it be? It's like mini tennis, whatever. Okay, that might be true. But at the same time, you get out there and you play. And it's like the better you get, the more, like, things are to learn. And, like, it's just so much fun. Like,
So you're gonna tell them the shirt that you have?
oh yeah, what is it? Like it's if tennis were easy, it'd be called pickleball. Somebody got me that shirt.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they were
You're
like,
gonna get in trouble.
yeah,
man.
people make and people make fun of, you know, there's all these things online about, you know, making fun of pickleball and stuff. And I told you guys, I told some of them last night, and I'll tell them the same thing now. It's like, if you really want to make fun of pickleball, come and play me for money and then kiss my paddle. That's what I tell them.
And talk about the social factor, right? I mean, like now with the Cabieses Foundation that we have created with my family, we have helped over 45,000 kids, providing like people equipment, paddles,
That's
balls,
awesome.
nets.
That's amazing, man.
And I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like such a grateful experience when you're with the kids, like feeling balls, like having a time with them. And we just did the first clinic for deaf players.
Wow.
So we did that with like the signs. It was a cool experience, and we also do a lot for the para athletes. So actually, I was the first pro player playing at the U.S. Open at the Harvard division this year. Was able to take gold with Anthony Ryan, who is also coming to Peru. He's starting the first para athlete clinic directed by a para athlete. So
That's
I
awesome.
think like
That's
there's
awesome.
so much change to do in the sport, and it's not about like which sport is bigger. I think like pickleball like fills your heart in a different way,
Yes.
and we're able to connect. I mean, we are all here in Dubai who had think this like a year ago, and I think like this is just not gonna stop. So
I
It's
think
not a
that-
competition, right? Like,
No, it's not.
a
And
competition.
I
We can all
think
thrive.
the cool thing that's happening right now is it's also turning into a little bit of an incubator. Like how many ideas are coming out from the sport, right?
Yeah.
How many brains are getting together and wanting to innovate, which some other sports are a little more static. And I'm a tennis player at heart. I'm tennis players. Don't get upset at me. But you know, tennis has been the same way. It's traditional, right? It's, you know, things struggle to move fast. While in this sport, you know, we get to innovate. We need to create new things. We need to test new things, and you know, new programs, and you know, we get to shape it the way we want to shape it. And we cannot do that in other sports. They're too established. So the social aspect has been massive, and also the fact that, you know, it has given the opportunity for so many people to innovate and get their brains together around the sport, and it's unique. You don't see that in other industries for sure.
And I think we're all here because we love the sport. And most of us sitting here are not like players first, but every single person here plays. And I think what's really cool that I learned at the Indian Open is, you know, in the United States, a lot of women have we have all the opportunities in the world. I played soccer my entire life and we can go professional now. But for women in a lot of different countries, we don't have access to play sports. And in India, they're really trying to drive women participation. And I think that's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And I love the fact that, there's equal opportunity for women in pickleball. And, maybe not so much on the men. I have yet to post this, but like for MLP, there's now only one GM that's a female out of 22 teams. And
Really?
in upper management at the UPA, there's not one C-suite, management that is woman. And I feel like it's not for lack of knowledge or lack of competence, it's for lack of opportunity. So I feel like getting women up to speed, at the playing level as well as in business in pickleball is a huge, huge opportunity.
I remember talking to a group of girls in India in February that were playing the junior division, and just getting the chance to talk to them about being a pro athlete in the sport, and that pickleball literally is the only sport in the world where it's equal pay at all events.
Yes.
So I know everybody brings up tennis, but actually in tennis, it's only the Grand Slams where we get paid equally. And whereas in pickleball, at every single event we go to, we can make the same amount of singles, mix, and doubles. And if anything, the viewership on women's doubles is higher than any other event.
She keeps saying that.
I just love the aspect of being able to, help and encourage women and girls in particular to take the sport and have an opportunity and a platform and do sports and socially and.
It brings so much life to life, and women aren't able to do it. And at the Indian Open, they actually had like a full day dedicated to just women in pickleball, and they had so many girls and older women come out too, which I think is huge because they're just used to taking care of the family and providing for the family and doing other things and not really taking care of themselves. So I think this is like a huge opportunity in sport for women to get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, coaching pickleball, we've had how many people have we talked to us and been like, I've never played a sport before.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like in love with pickleball, and it's just like amazing to see these people that have literally like never played sports. Like you said, like maybe a mom. There was one mom that she was like, I spent my whole life taking my kids to their practices and their sports and all this stuff, and she's like, now it's my time to play.
Whole life, bro. When did she become a mom? Jeez, didn't have a gym class one time, man.
But it's like that's also the unique part about pickleball, right? Is like it's tennis is a little bit that way, but I think when you get older in tennis, like it becomes a lot harder, like it's not a sport that's necessarily easy on your body. And I think pickleball, you can go out there, you can get a great workout, you can, play with friends, super social, and you feel like you burn calories, but you didn't like destroy your joints at the end of the day. I love playing like pickup basketball, and like every time I play basketball, I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like I'm killing myself out there. But now I play pickleball, and like besides my back hurting a little bit, my sciatica, training with Megan, dinking too much, I think. But other than that, I mean, I feel good. Like it's getting me in shape, but it's like keeping me in the game, keeping me healthy. So
I think we should say tennis is great every couple of sentences just to make sure no one gets
tennis
is great.
Tennis is great. I still love watching tennis too. I mean,
I think there's something really interesting that even though what everybody else sees and talks about how social pickleball is, where we're sitting right now in Dubai is social on the business side as well. And all these relationships that has been worked on for years and years and years. Name another sport where you have agents and league directors and everybody involved in the sport coming together to not fight over things, but to actually talk about how do we progress the sport or how do we build on the sport. And I think some of the stuff that we see in the news or the media talks about a lot of the negatives all the time because it's these really hot topics and triggers that we can expand off of. People don't see these back ends of us up at 3:00 in the morning, not sleeping, trying to push an agenda or push something to like help the sport grow. And everybody here is always, how do we grow the sport? What can we do to impact people? And even at breakfast this morning with, players, when we're focusing on our job and our conversations, it's still like going back to Ryler was like, what is your why? Like, what are we doing? And I think that's so good to always remember is like, from playing on the parks where I started, somebody invited me to come out and just play at a park. And that's how I got started in pickleball all these years ago, to growing up and meeting everybody where we're all working together. Everybody has the same thing is we want to grow the sport. We want to impact it. And I think what's hard sometimes for people to get at is this sport is growing at such rapid paces across the world that no other sport is growing at. like soccer was developed or football, and then it has all this time to grow. Where yes, pickleball may have started a long time, but in its boom a few years ago, it's tackling, like you said, 175 countries that DUPR's on now, and continuing to push at rates that it's stressful. It's stressful for us as agents. It's stressful for you as people to even get that. Yeah.
Too.
No,
having to go.
things that you guys do, for example, like being in China in the big wall and putting pictures, that grows the sport. That
Great
grows
wall, bro.
every
Great
single-
wall.
Sorry. My apologies.
I just wanted to get it out.
I translated from Spanish, so that's why. But if you guys grow, right? If we all grow, and that's the thing that the sport has, and all of this is benefiting each other, but not only in a selfish way, right? But it's just when we see these things and we see, someone says a good article about pickleball, I get excited. Anyone talking good about the sport that we have, it's like, thank you, and that instinct of collaboration, you're right? There is so much noise about conflict in the sport. I mean, it's a young sport. We're still figuring things out. Things, there's going to be, miscommunications and bad situations like in every industry. But I think we're getting closer together faster than any other industry. And I think we need to talk about that more rather than about the things that are dividing us, for sure.
For sure. I mean, we had a great conversation last night at dinner with Amon, who's the founder of Fansplay. And, it reminds me of, I talked about Rogan and just all these people that are super successful. And he was talking about how it's like, go for your passion, right? Like, go for what you love to do. Like, Tito, you said, you don't feel like you're working because you're so passionate about it. And it's like, I think sometimes I'm not, pointing anyone out, but I think there are players sometimes where they feel like they're going after the money or they're going after the fame or the success. And it's like, the more you chase that, I think you're kind of missing the point, right? Like we're all that's why we said, like, what's our why? Like we want to use pickleball. Pickleball is like our vehicle to like change the world, right? Like Steve Kuhn said, like pickleball can change the world, right? He said it can change America, but now, it's great timing for us with fans playing all this stuff going on because now it's spreading all over and our impact is going to be so huge, right? That we can just make an unbelievable impact now with the sport. And I think we all have the obligation to think that way, right? And Megan, why don't you share that story about the African village? Because I think this is really cool. Like, I think like this is how we all need to kind of be thinking about pickleball and what we're doing in the journey that we're on. So I just thought it was a really cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story that we share with our kids a couple of times now to remind them. But there's a saying, an African tribe called Ubuntu, and it's an anthropologist told a group of kids that there's a fruit basket under the tree, a few, 50 meters away, and the first person to get to the fruit basket will get the fruit. And he said, ready, set, go. And the kids grabbed each other's hands and walked over to the basket. And he asked them, why didn't one of you run? Why didn't one of you get there and eat all the fruit? And he said, Ubuntu. We live by Ubuntu, which means we are I am because we are. So I am happy, I am fulfilled, I am able to do things because we are as a community. And I feel like our pickleball community is kind of often like that too, right? We can, if we do well, you do well. And if you do well, we all grow as well. And I just feel like, it's just like, we try and share that philosophy with our kids too, about sharing and caring for others before ourselves. But
and there's an opportunity for everyone, right? Doesn't matter like what's your background, like if you play sports, don't play sports, like if you're in a corporate side. I think like if you are a little bit creative and you can just like make an introduction with people, I think that you can be successful anyhow, right? I mean, like now like people is providing so many opportunities, right? I mean, like I help all these kids. I mean, in Cuba, like they're playing barefoot. I mean, they're playing with pants, right? And they're just like want to play pickleball. And now with DUPR incorporating like the colleges scholarships, right? I mean, like these kids can have a living through pickleball, right? I mean, like they don't have to be the best players, but they can have opportunities where they can travel, represent their countries, and I think like that's like the beauty of the sport.
Yeah, I agree.
You guys heard it here first. Pickleball is going to bring world peace and solve world hunger, I guess. So let's get it.
Well, I think we can all agree that pickleball has been life-changing. It's growing rapidly. Hopefully it gets into the Olympics.
That's what we're all here about, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're working for.
I think that's what we all want.
Australia.
Hopefully Ryler can beat up on Megan in the near future.
Holy, I'm glad we have context for that sentence.
Hopefully Sam Flaxman can find one woman to stay with.
Oh, I'm going to get up and leave before my dirty laundry gets aired out.
And, I could go down the line. We're going to cut it there, but thank you guys for
One by
listening.
one.
Thank you guys for
I'm glad we
listening.
don't know each other that well.
We really appreciated you guys tuning in. I hope this
Good luck
was
if we're going to play mixed together.
helpful,
Oh my God.
informational,
Oh my God.
and you really enjoyed it. But we're here in Dubai for the Pickleball World Series. Be sure to check us out. I'm Kaitlyn Kerr here in Dubai with some of the best people in the pickleball world. So thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out Pickleball World Series.